Hi, Kelly here from freebiefindingmom.com, and thank you for joining me for another Friday session of Money Talk, where we get together on Fridays and go over usually one or two of the more popular finance or money related questions that you have had here on the Freebie Finding Mom Facebook page. So today's first question comes from Laura. And by the way, as you watch this video, if you will please give it a like or a heart, I would appreciate it, and share it to your Facebook page if you find it helpful for you. Okay, so the first question comes from Laura, and Laura asks, I feel like our grocery budget is out of control. There are 6 people in our family, which includes 4 growing boys that are always hungry. I spend $1,000 a month on groceries. Is that crazy to anybody else? My first thought is, I think, $1,000 is a lot of money, obviously, and it sounds like a ton, but if you divide it out by 4 weeks, and you think $250 a week, for 6 people, my first thought is that doesn't seem exceptionally high, but you could probably lower it. But you guys had so many good thoughts on this one. I'm not gonna read through everyone, but please check out this thread if you have any questions about this. But first off, Renee, for instance, mentioned, she said she thought it sounded reasonable as well. Yep, she did the math, and she said it ends up being about $6 per person per day, which, yeah, it's not, and I actually checked it too, and that's exactly what it is. It's just right under $6, and that's pretty reasonable, I think, especially if they're growing teenage boys. I mean, I know when I was a teenager and my 2 brothers were also, when my other brother was a teen and the other was a preteen, we ate a ton. So I don't think $1,000 a month is absurd given that, but there are some things I'm sure you could do, like meal planning, using coupons, shopping sales, and things like that to kind of get it down a little bit lower. And Brittany said we spend roughly $700 on a family of 4, so that doesn't seem outrageous to her. She said especially with 4 boys. She said, I remember eating the whole house as a swimmer in high school, like mixing bowl sizes of cereal. Mixing bowls, I love cereal too. I'm a carb person. Then she said you may be able to cut it down by making more snacks from scratch. So that's a good suggestion. And then Amy said exactly what she spends for 4 boys. She spends for 4 boys about $1,000 as well, Laura. So it's in line with what she does as well. Lisa says, same here, 4 teenage boys, and we spend about the same on groceries, sometimes up to $1,200 a month. She said, I even try to make snacks at home once a week because it's cheaper to make a whole pan of them at home for the snack basket than to just buy like the individual wrapped ones. That's a good idea for sure. I'm sure that's much cheaper. Anytime you buy those individual size or prepackaged, snacks that are really handy for lunches, you're always going to probably pay more for them. And then Carol said that sounds about right to her. She said we had 5 kids that are adults now and spent about that much several years ago. She said don't worry about it. It will always be like that when they are grown and live elsewhere. She said it won't always be like that when they're grown and live elsewhere. So this is just a season that you're going through, Laura, where it's going to be a little bit more expensive probably. And then Carol goes on to say, enjoy this time with them and meal times when you can get together and talk. She said it's worth it. So good advice there, Carol. And then also Angie said that she has 3 boys and a girl, and she said my boys are 9, 15, and 16. My daughter's only 6, but she said they have a family of 6, and her oldest 2 they play football, and she said she coupons and shops clearance and saves money however she can, and she spends about $800 on groceries. So that's good feedback. Thanks, Angie, for that, because so that gives you some ideas there, Laura. Like you might be spending around $1,000 for 6 people for a month now, but if you implement some of the things that Angie had mentioned, like shopping sales, do more meal planning, that sort of thing, you might be able to save a couple $100 a month. But so that's just something to think about. And I love the suggestion that a couple of you had about making snacks from scratch. That could definitely be a big saver because those are always priced up whenever you buy a lot of those prepackaged things in the store. So your $1,000 a month for a family of 6 seems like it's pretty much in line, especially if you have growing boys. If there are some things you do to kind of drive that down, maybe save you a few $100 a month, but it doesn't really seem that outrageous, I think, for a lot of us. All right, the next question comes from Grace. Grace says, I'm trying to find a prom dress for my daughter who is a junior in high school. I took her to a few local stores, but she didn't like anything or it was too expensive. Where can I find beautiful, affordable prom dresses? Okay, I'll share with you I'm someone who really doesn't spend a lot of money on clothes, first off, but especially on dresses that you're gonna wear once, including my wedding dress. I think I bought it for like $115. In prom dresses, I'm sure they were well under $100. So I love you guys' suggestions, and I'll share with you kind of some things that I try to do whenever I have to buy a dress for like just an individual, like for one occasion. Charlotte said she had a friend that bought a beautiful wedding dress at the Salvation Army for almost nothing. She said it was never worn, so they actually never used it. So think about Salvation Army. That's what the first thing I thought of was like thrift shops and Salvation Army, consignments, this sort of thing. Tammy said consignment shops, especially for wedding related ones. And I will say my wedding dress was super simple. It was, and I should show a picture sometime. It's very, very simple. And quite honestly, if it was in a different color, it could easily have been a prom dress, or even maybe changing out the sash would have made it even look fine for a prom dress. So definitely consider even going to, clearance racks for wedding dresses even. You might be able to find something. Karen said thrift shops. She said there's usually a big selection at pre-owned at reasonable prices. And Cynthia said she found a beautiful prom dress for her daughter at Burlington Coat Factory. She said they don't have a big selection, but luckily she found one her size that she loved. She said, I think I paid less than $50 for it. And then Cynthia said, you might want to also try Marshall's or Ross stores. Good suggestions. And then Christy said both her daughters searched online and found dresses they liked, and they got everything for under $120. And then Lisa said eBay. She said she purchased one worn for her daughter for around $100. And then Bonnie also agreed thrift shops are a great idea. She said, yep, that's a good one. Yep, clearance racks, the bridal stores, I agree with that. Nikki mentioned Rent the Runway. I've checked out that site numerous times. I've never used it yet, but I have had friends that have used it, so you can check out Rent the Runway as an option too. And Barbara said, check to see if there's a Dillard's clearance outlet near you. She said they're separate from the regular Dillard's stores, so you'll probably be able to get even deeper discounts. So see if you have any outlets like that near you. And then Chrissy said JCPenney's, and then usually if they're on sale and then you can find a coupon, you could really maximize your savings. And then Liz went on to say, if you could definitely try it. She agrees with eBay. And Emily mentioned jjshouse.com. So I've never been to that website, but that's another one you might want to try there as well. So there, Grace. So lots of good suggestions. My first thought is if she's not finding what she wants, I love clearance racks at bridal stores or dress shops. Go to consignment stores, go to thrift stores. Honestly, ask around for a prom dress. See if any of your friends' daughters who graduated already have a dress that they aren't using. Even if it's not maybe the exact style that she wants, maybe you can alter it a little bit. Maybe it's long and you can make it a short dress or something like that. Maybe it has sleeves and she doesn't want sleeves, so you can cut those off. So maybe you can add a little embellishment or a sash or something. Something like that to kind of make it more her own or customize it. I will tell you that both my prom dresses I bought at not dress shops. I bought them at regular clothing shops. I think the one I remember getting at BMOS, it's just like a regular clothing shop. I loved it. I bought a lot of stuff there in high school, but it was a very simple dress. It didn't have any sequins or anything like that, but that's kind of my style. I don't love really flashy stuff. And my wedding dress, actually, I got at a bridal shop, but it was over in the bridesmaids' dresses because it was, again, very, very simple. It was like $115. It wasn't that much. And the alterations were about as much as what the dress was, honestly. So look at those kind of options, but I highly recommend asking around. I gave both of my prom dresses away to my mom's coworker who had a daughter a few years younger than me. So ask friends, ask family, and especially if the kids went to a different school, or even if they didn't. Even if the daughter went to the same school, but it was a couple years ago, I'm sure no one's going to probably remember. And especially if you can kind of customize it and make it a little bit unique to your daughter, that's great. So ask friends, ask coworkers, just mention that you're looking for prom dresses. And even if it's not the exact same size, what you would save on buying a dress, you can go ahead and pay on alterations. So just some suggestions, but I would first absolutely ask around and see if you have anybody that has any old dresses that they are not using, and if they'd be willing to let you either buy them or just have them. So good questions this week, you guys. Thank you so much. As always, you had loads of good insights. I really appreciate you sharing your thoughts on everyone's questions. If you have any questions you'd like featured on the Freebie Finding Mom Facebook page, please either send me a direct message, leave a comment, or you can always send me an email. As always, thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.